I'm talking to you because of something that happened a long time ago and very far away, though not in another galaxy. 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem, Jesus Christ was born in a stable. And it's hard to know how to keep in touch with that. When tourists go to places, they bring things back. Indeed, over in the aisle behind me in this cathedral, there's some bits of stone from the old Jerusalem temple and some stone from where Jesus was reputed to have been crucified, which the Victorian clergy brought back to keep them in touch with the reality of what happened in the Holy Land. I don't have bits of stone to remind me about Christmas, but I have something else. I have a friend called Ison, who's a Muslim of Palestinian origin, who now is a British citizen and lives in Essex. He takes tours over to the Holy Land. And one of the things he did last year when he was master of a livery company here in the City of London was to give me a gift that he brought back from there, a olive wood set of the nativity, of the figures and of the stable. And one of the figures in that set is this, the figure of the baby Jesus carved out of olive wood by a Christian craftsman. Jesus is not yet in the manger because, while I'm doing this, it's not Christmas Day, but he'll be there from Christmas Day morning for us to see. Times, of course, when Jesus was born were not so dissimilar from how they are now in some ways. My friend in Bethlehem lives under occupation in times of difficulty, surrounded sometimes by violence and living in an uncertain future. The world can be a dark and difficult place. Sometimes you think bringing children into it may be quite a risky thing to do, but nonetheless we go ahead and do it. But there are those in the world who seek to force us into the way that they think we should be. Religion is used sometimes in the name of a God who forces us to submit or accept death. That's not a Christian understanding of the nature of God. In Jesus, we see a God who comes alongside us in vulnerability, a God who comes to share our humanity, a God who does not beat us into submission, but who invites us to follow him, a God who comes not in force, but in love to win us over. And it's that God which Christians proclaim and believe in. Jesus said to his followers, "Unless you accept the kingdom of God like a child, you will not enter it." And that's something which Jesus took seriously for himself as the Son of God, becoming a child for us, that God becomes vulnerable, that we may know God's love for us. There's an old carol which talks about O little town of Bethlehem, and in that carol it talks about the light that shines in its dark streets, and how the hopes and fears of all the years are met in you tonight. I don't know what your hopes and fears may be for the year that lies ahead, for you or your family or your friends. There is darkness in the world, there is despair, there are problems ahead. But in Jesus we see a God who comes to live through those alongside us, who comes to confront them, who comes to give us hope that things are going to be different in God's love and justice. Whatever you feel, I hope that you'll be able to give your hopes and your fears to God this Christmas, the God who, as Jesus shows, came in love and concern, the God who is in Bethlehem as he is with you wherever you are around the world, Bethlehem today as well as Bethlehem then, a God who is working for love and peace and hope in your life and in the lives of every human being. For God became human, that every person may be valued and everyone know just how great God's love for them is. May you and those you love know God's love with you this Christmas time.